I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Douglas Ducote Show. You got many places to be tonight, but chose to be here with me, and for that I am forever grateful. Folks, after tonight's show, I want you to do something. I want you to, right here on YouTube, as a matter of fact, you can see the many different members of Congress questioning the FBI and the Department of Justice today. During a Senate hearing on the DOJ and FBI being politically biased. Here's what you will come away with, unless you don't have much of a brain, is that hands down, the FBI and the Department of Justice could give two shits about anything that Joe or Hunter Biden did. And all they care about is crucifying Republicans, conservatives, and Trump supporters, all right? So watch it. You can probably find it in a few places, definitely on C-SPAN. You can see the whole damn hearing. Watch the Democrats, the questions they ask, which have nothing to do with political bias. And then watch the members of the Republican Party, their senators, just obliviate those that they sent there. They sent the deputy director of the FBI, last name is Abbate, A-B-B-A-T-E, and Department of Justice Olson. And what a shame. What a crying ass shame what was witnessed in that hearing today. I mean, you will come away with this realizing that the FBI and Department of Justice are 100% in the tank for the Democrat Party. All right, tonight's lead story, which you're not going to see in too many places. Tennessee Republican Andy Douglas introduced articles of impeachment yesterday against President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. The articles accuse Biden of having weaponized the presidency, both in his tenure as president and vice president, to shield the business, influence, peddling schemes of his family from congressional oversight and public accountability. Additionally, the articles accuse Biden of acting in a manner contrary to public trust and subversion of constitutional government, to the great prejudice of the cause of law and justice, and to the manifest injury of the people of the United States with his handling of the southern border crisis. He said efforts will likely face an uphill climb in the House because there's only a small minority of Republicans that believe that Joe Biden and Kamala need to be impeached. But even if it does go forward and the House does impeach them, the Senate won't, because it's controlled by the Democrats. Harris' impeachment articles take aim at her track record as vice president, as well as her handling of the southern border crisis, accusing the vice president of having extraordinary incompetence in the execution of duties and responsibilities, and the indifference to Americans suffering as a result of America's ongoing border crisis. Joe Biden hasn't just failed the American people with his excuse of leadership. he's violated his sworn oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Joe Biden has repeatedly abused his position of power, both as a vice president and president, to cover up his family business dealings and taxpayer resources. The Tennessee Republican continued, the American people know they can't depend on the so-called Department of Justice to investigate the Biden family corruption. And so it's up to the U.S. Congress to hold them accountable once and for all. Oakland said Biden is a disgrace to the Oval Office and should be stripped of his position and held responsible for his high crimes against the United States, and that his accomplice, Harris, demonstrates her extraordinary incompetence time and time again. She has allowed the land invasion of our southern border to continue unchecked, threatening the livelihoods of millions and the lives of thousands who have been murdered at the hands of illegal aliens and died from fentanyl. Specifically, Biden's articles accuse him of having failed to comply with congressional requests for information and documentation, violating a personal commitment to transparency. Additionally, the articles also accuse the president of withholding a critical FD 1023 form until threatening with a congressional subpoena that reportedly details a bribe scheme in which members of the Biden family, including Joseph Biden, received $5 million each to assist Burisma Holdings, the Ukrainian company of which Hunter Biden sat on the board. In her impeachment articles, Harris is accused of having consistently refused to visit the southern border and to look at the root causes of ongoing crisis, and stays hundreds of miles, if not thousands of miles, away from the southern border on purpose, permitting an invasion of illegal aliens and drugs to come across into the United States, as well as facilitating the major humanitarian crisis down there. Vice President Kamala Harris has directly betrayed the public trust of the United States to the manifest injury of the people of the United States, the article reads. The impeachment articles come as Biden faces a special counsel investigation to his handling of classified documents after leaving the presidency in 2017, which will go absolutely nowhere because why? There is a two-tier justice system in America, one for Democrats and one for Republicans and conservatives and Donald Trump supporters. Former President Donald Trump pleaded not guilty to 37 federal charges stemming from Special Counsel Jack Smith's investigation to his alleged improper retention of classified records at Mar-a-Lago in federal court in Miami today. The charges include willful retention of national defense information, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and false statements. This is the first time in the United States history that a former president has faced any type of federal criminal charges. Trump, the current frontrunner in the 2024 Republican presidential primary, first signaled he would not plead guilty to the charges in an executive interview that he held with Fox News Digital last week. Former president appeared in federal court for the Southern District of Florida in Miami today, where Magistrate Judge Jonathan Goodman said out loud, in the case of the United States of America versus Donald J. Trump, after which Trump issued his plea of not guilty. Trump's defense attorney, Chris Kise, did much of the talking for the Trump defense team, but defense attorney Todd Blanche told Judge Goodman, "We certainly plead not guilty." Smith was in the courtroom Tuesday, but did not speak or mention anything. Instead, federal prosecutors asked David Harchback, spoke for the special counsel's office. The former president was released under special circumstances and conditions, including that he appear in court for future hearings. Trump did not have to surrender his passport and does not have any restrictions on his travel. Goodman does not want Trump to speak to any potential witnesses in the case, but many of those potential witnesses may be Trump's in his inner circle. There will be a no contact list and a list of people the former president can't contact but cannot speak with about the case. Prior to his formal arraignment, arraignment Tuesday. Trump called the investigation a witch hunt. MAGA, Make America Great Again. He posted in his Truth Social. Trump attorneys dubbed his indictment a turning point in our nation's history. Yes, it is. The targeting prosecution of a lead political opponent is the type of thing you see in dictatorships like Cuba and Venezuela, Trump's lawyer, Alana Hab, said. In commonplace, there are for rival candidates to be prosecuted, persecuted, and put in jail. Former president could face decades in federal prison if convicted on all 37 federal counts, stemming from Smith's probe. Among the charges are 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information, including documents concerning White House intelligence briefings related to various foreign countries, documents concerning military capabilities of a foreign country, and the U.S. Handwritten notes in black marker, a June 2020 document concerning nuclear capabilities of a foreign country. On October 21st, 2018, document concerning communications with a leader of a foreign country, an undated document concerning military contingency planning for the U.S., a document from December 2019 concerning foreign country support and terrorist acts against U.S. interests, and an undated document concerning nuclear weaponry of the United States, an undated document concerning the timeline and details of an attack in a foreign country, and more. Trump is also charged with conspiracy to obstruct justice. The indictment says the purpose of the conspiracy was for Trump to keep classified documents he had taken with him from the White House and to hide and conceal them from a federal grand jury. He was charged with 2 counts of holding documents of record and 1 count of concealing a document in a federal investigation, 1 count of a scheme to conceal and making a false statement in June of 2022, when he said a diligent search of Mar-a-Lago was conducted. The search was conducted after receipt of a subpoena, and any and all responsible documents accompanied this certification. In fact, after June 3rd, 2022, more than 100 documents with classified markings remained at the Mar-a-Lago club until the FBI searched it on August 8, 2022. The indictment states, Trump, in an exclusive interview with Fox News Digital last week, said the federal indictment is an election interference at the highest level. This is the most corrupt administration in history. There's never been an administration so corrupt, and they're just starting to find it out right now. Trump told Fox News Digital they're trying to deflect all of their dishonesty and bringing this ridiculous hoax case. He added, they're not going to get away with it. I did absolutely nothing wrong. Trump citing the Presidential Records Act, saying it makes it totally innocent. And if you're not aware of the Presidential Records Act, look that up. Let me get, hold on one second. There's more to this. Trump pleaded not guilty on the charges. We've already talked about that. Okay. So the Presidential Records Act says that the President of the United States can, after declassifying documents, take them with them to put in the presidential library. So presidents for many, many years have done just this. All right. Trump claims he declassified all these documents. There is supposedly a tape out there with him bragging about not declassifying one of the documents and that he had them in his possession. What that's about, I don't know. It seems pretty damning to me that if he did actually say this, and that is what took place. But all that aside, all right, the left and the Democrats keep trying to say that there's a major difference between what Joe Biden did with classified documents and what Trump did with classified documents. And I'm telling you this, no, there's fucking not. You can get into semantics. You can get into nitpicking. Let's forget that. Put that aside. The law states that no classified information is allowed to leave its prospective office or offices and only viewed by people that have the classification to do it unless it's been declassified. That's the law. Joe Biden had classified documents from his time as a member of Congress and from his time as the Vice President of the United States that were located in both of his homes, in two of his offices, and in his garage next to his Corvette. Joe Biden had way more classified documents at these different locations than Donald Trump had. Joe Biden claims he doesn't know how they got there. No clue. And he may not, because he has dementia or some type of a mental issue where he's fucking a babbling idiot. But regardless, taking of classified information that's not been declassified is a crime. Doesn't matter how the fuck it got there. Now, if Trump declassified it and that can be proved, the FBI and Department of Justice is barking up over a fucking wrong tree, just like they've been doing ever since day one, trying to take this guy down. All these special counsels and all these investigations that just spent hundreds of thousands and millions of actual taxpayer dollars. All right. Regardless, nothing is being done about Joe Biden doing the same thing. Did Joe Biden stop the FBI from investigating or try to stop them like supposedly Trump did? No. Joe claims he didn't know anything about it. How that's possible, I don't know. If both of your offices have classified documents and both of your homes have classified documents and they're in your garage, for crying out loud, and you don't know they existed there, answer me that question, Joe. Will we ever see the answer to that? No. Is the FBI and Department of Justice going to prosecute Biden for this? No. They're just going to go after Donald Trump because it's a two-tier justice system. That's how this works. Everything aside, you do not remove from the federal government classified information unless it has been officially declassified and you're authorized to do so. Period. Doesn't matter if you're Donald Trump, if you're Joe Biden, if you're Kamala Harris, if you're Barack Obama, if you're George Bush Sr. or Jr., if you're Hillary Clinton, if you're Bill Clinton, it doesn't fucking matter. It's a crime. Period. But they're only going after one person. And that's why the American people are so pissed the fuck off right now. That's why we're watching the FBI and Department of Justice become the political arm of the Democrat Party. I mean, it's fucking the writings on the wall. But yet, Democrats and liberals just can't seem to fucking understand that. They can't understand it for whatever reason. You know, this whole thing of Joe Biden didn't know they were there. You know, that's like if you get pulled over for a traffic stop and for whatever reason, they want to search your car because maybe they smell pot, who knows, and you give them authorization and they find drugs in your car. Now they're going to charge you with that. And you go, oh, wait, it's not my drugs. I don't know how that got there. It beats me. Wait, is this your car? Yes. Were you driving it? Yes. Then guess what? You're responsible for what's in it. And you're going to be charged for it. But not according to the FBI and Department of Justice when it comes to Democrats. Senator Chuck Grassley said yesterday that Burisma executive who allegedly paid Joe Biden and Hunter Biden kept 17 audio recordings of his conversations with them as an insurance policy, citing the FBI FD 1023 form from the Bureau briefed congressional lawmakers on. Grassley, Republican, Ohio, revealed from the Senate floor Monday what was said to be a redacted reference in the FBI's generated FD 1023 for allegedly a criminal bribery scheme between then Vice President Joe Biden and a foreign national that involved influence over U.S. policy decisions. Let me stop right there for a second. Folks, we are witnessing a corruption within the Biden family that makes Hillary and Trump look like fucking Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. And the FBI and the Department of Justice is doing everything in their fucking power to cover up these crimes. And that is a fact. The FD 1023 form, dated June 30th, 2020, is the FBI's interview with a highly credible, confidential source that they have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to for several years and has been part of prosecuting people because of what they were able to uncover. Highly credible confidential source who detailed multiple meetings and conversations that they had with top Burisma executives over the course of several years, starting in 2015. Grassley said the FD 1023 has a redacted reference to the Burisma executive possesses 15 audio recordings of phone calls between himself and Hunter Biden. And what happened when the FBI brought that FD 1023 in for all the House committee that I reported on recently to view last week? They redacted the part that talked about these recordings. But guess what? When the two lead people in the investigation first were able to see it, it wasn't redacted. That's how we know they've got those recordings. Why would the FBI redact that and not want the American people to know that there's actual phone recordings of Joe Biden himself proving he's involved with this criminal scheme with his son Hunter, which he's already on record many times saying he knows nothing about? Unfolding in front of us, I assure you, to date, is an unbelievable crime that our Justice Department is allowing to go unchecked. According to Grassley, the FD 1023 also states that the executive possesses 2 audio recordings of phone calls between himself and then Vice President Joe Biden. Grassley from the Senate floor slammed the FBI for not complying with the House Oversight Committee's subpoena, saying Congress still lacks a full and complete picture with respect to what that document really says. That's why it's important that the document be made public without unnecessary redactions for the American people to see. Let me assist for purposes of transparency. Of course, the FBI is not going to do that because they're covering for Joe Biden. The 1023 produced to that House committee redacted reference of the foreign national who allegedly bribed Joe and Hunter Biden, allegedly has audio recordings of his conversations with them. 17 recordings altogether. It's unbelievable what the House is uncovering. And the FBI and Department of Justice doesn't give a fuck. Grassley demanded answers on what, if anything, has the Justice Department and the FBI done to investigate. Justice Department and FBI must show their work, Grassley said. They no longer deserve the benefit of the doubt. The FBI brought the document to Capitol Hill last week after House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer subpoenaed it last month. The FBI briefed Comer and committee ranking member Jamie Raskin, Democrat, on the form in a SCIF on Capitol Hill, but did not turn over the document. Comer threatened to hold FBI Christopher Wray in contempt of Congress, Stop threatening it. Do it. Do it. Stop threatening. You've done that several times. The FBI made a further accommodation and later brought the form to a secure setting on Capitol Hill for an oversight committee members to review. But the document is still not in the committee's possession, and they redacted all the part that talked about the recordings to prove what's on the form. Joe Biden's own voice and Hunter's working together with this scheme. You couldn't make this shit up if you tried. Our president right now and his family are a bunch of corrupt criminals. The document proves it. If not, show us the full document, redact the name of your witness, and release the goddamn audio recordings. Let us hear them. But you're not going to do that because it incriminates the President of the United States. All you care about is Trump. You don't give a fuck about the other crimes going on around you. What a disgrace the FBI and Department of Justice has become. A source familiar told Fox News Digital on Monday that the FBI did not redact the section of the FD 1023 referencing the audio recordings when it showed the document solely to just Comer and Raskin. Of course, that's how we know about it, because when they showed the document to all of them, they redacted all that shit. But did so for the full committee briefing. The source said Grassley and Comer have already seen the form, even prior to the FBI sharing it with Congress. Why? Because the whistleblower told them about it and had a copy. Confidential human source told the FBI that the Burisma executive was speaking with the confidential source to get advice on the best way to go forward in 2015 and 2016 in gaining U.S. oil rights and getting involved with a U.S. oil company. According to the FD 1023 form, the confidential human source said the Burisma executive discussed Hunter's role on the board. The confidential human source questioned why the Burisma executive needed his or her advice in acquiring access to U.S. oil if he had Hunter Biden on the board. The Burisma executive answered by referring to Hunter Biden as dumb. The Burisma executive explained to the confidential source that Burisma had to pay the Bidens because Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin was investigating Burisma, and explained how difficult it would be to enter the U.S. market in the midst of that investigation. Now pay close attention here, because I'm fixing to blow this shit up for you. Confidential source further detailed that conversation, suggesting to the Burisma executive that he paid the Bidens $50,000 each, to which the executive replied, "It is not $50,000, it's $5 million. $5 million for Joe and $5 million for Hunter." The executive told the confidential human source. A source familiar said, according to the document, the $5 million payment appeared to reference a kind of retainer intended to pay the Bidens to deal with a number of issues, including the investigation led by Shokin. Another source referenced the arrangement as a pay-to-play scheme. Sources familiar told Fox News Digital that the confidential human source believes that the $5 million payment to Joe Biden and the $5 million payment to Hunter Biden occurred based on his or her conversations with the Burisma executives. Confidential source said the executive told him he paid the Bidens in such a manner through so many different bank accounts that investigators would not be able to unravel this for at least 10 years. And the House already has a shit ton of these bank accounts that's been handed over to them. And it's looking really fucking bad for Joe Biden. The document then referenced the big guy, which is said to reference Joe Biden. The executive told the confidential source that he didn't pay the big guy directly. Sources said the executive appears to be a very, very high level in the company. One source familiar with the confidential source could be referring to the head of Burisma. Biden has acknowledged, ready for this? Drum roll, please. Biden has acknowledged, and you can see it right here on YouTube, that when he was vice president, he successfully pressured Ukraine to fire prosecutor Viktor Shkoskin. At the time, Shkoskin was investigating Burisma's holdings. And at the time, Hunter Biden had a highly lucrative role on the board, receiving thousands of dollars per month. The then vice president threatened to withhold $1 billion of critical U.S. aid if the prosecutor was not fired. That is what is known as quid pro quo, which means something given or received for something else, which is illegal by a president or vice president of the United States or any member of the United States government or city government or county government. You may recall the Democrats accused President Trump of quid pro quo a while back. Confidential source, according to the sources familiar with the FD 1023 form, told the Burisma's executive he should get away from the Bidens and said the executive should not get involved with them. A source familiar with the document told Fox News Digital that the confidential human source goes on to detail a later conversation with Burisma executives following the 2016 presidential election. Look, the writing's on the wall, just what's been released to the public. Forget the shit we don't know yet. And the FBI and Department of Justice refuses to let us see. Just what we know that's factual, all going back to the Hunter Biden laptop, and everything we know now with that and the members of Burisma that came forward, the members of Hunter Biden's team that were doing business dealings with him have come forward, the confidential FBI informant that's come forward, just what we know that's factual, there could be a prosecution. There could be. There won't be. There will not be an indictment because the FBI and the Department of Justice will continue to stonewall this committee and stop them from seeing this information. And if it comes right down to it, where they do come out and spill the beans, guess what? They're going to cover up just like they did for Hillary Clinton. You remember, right before the presidential election, when FBI Director James Comey comes out, holds a press conference, and lists off 30 minutes worth of all the federal crimes that Hillary Clinton committed that would put any one of us in jail, and closes by saying, but no reasonable prosecutor would prosecute a case like this. Really? Prosecutors are willing to prosecute Donald Trump for doing not what she did, for crying out loud. That bitch circumvented the entire process of classified documents by putting an email server in her own fucking basement, unsecured, with classified information flowing all over the place. And then when got caught, went out and hired companies to destroy, physically destroy laptops, cell phones, Blackberries, electronic devices that belong to the United States government, destroy them in a way that when the FBI got their hands on it, they couldn't get the information out. And then, after being told not to leave those emails alone, they have to be part of this investigation, she had a team go in and delete over 32,000 of them. And the bitch was never held responsible. And they'd want us to believe that no one's above the law. I'd like to throat punch somebody to tell me that to my face, that they're not above the law. Nobody's above the law. Bullshit. We're watching it happen. We, the people that have a fucking brain, are watching it happen right in front of our eyes. The FBI and the Department of Justice in this country are a two-tier system. They only go after Democrats and Republicans and Donald Trump and anybody that supported Donald Trump when they allow Democrats to get away with fucking murder. Joe Biden hosted Pride Month 2023 event at his presidential residence, decorating the area of rainbow banners and the Progress Pride flag. The event, hosting performers and speakers representing the LGBTQ causes, the Pride community as the bravest and most inspiring people, an example for the United States and the entire world. Outside the gates of this house are those who want to drag our country backwards, and so many battles yet to be braved. But today, we're not here to just be strong. We're here to be courage, to have courage, even though for so many of you, just coming to this event is an act of bravery, said First Lady Jill Biden. Biden also praised the LGBTQ community as some of the bravest and most inspiring people he has ever known. You know, we all move forward when we move together with joy, with your pride lighting the way, the president continued. So today, let us proudly remember who we are, the United States of America. Now, for the most part, this event would have gone unnoticed. But in true Joe Biden style, things went wrong fast. First, the LGBTQ flag was displayed outside the White House, along with two American flags on each side of it. That is against U.S. flag code. U.S. flag code mandates the American flag will be the center of any display featuring multiple flags. And if you're putting a flag up a flagpole with the American flag goes first. To advance revolutionary transgender agenda targeting children, Biden violates basic tenet of U.S. flag code and disrespects every American service member buried under its colors, wrote Judiciary Watch President Tom Fitton. Fitton went on to cite U.S. Flag Code 7E, which reads, the flag of the United States of America should be at the center and at the highest point of the group when a number of flags of states or localities or pennants of societies are grouped and displayed from staffs. So, if that was not shameful and embarrassing enough, drum roll please, trans activists in attendance filmed themselves lifting up their shirts and lowering their bras and exposing their breast for the cameras to see, for the children to see, for all the world to see, and posted it all over TikTok. A TikTok influencer who goes by the name of Rose Montona, a biological male who is transgender, originally posted the video from Saturday's event. It shows Montona and another unnamed transgender activist, a biological female, baring their breasts on the south lawn with the White House in view behind them. Montona also captured a meeting with President Biden. It's an honor, Mr. President, the activist told him. Trans rights are human rights. Biden is then seen holding the camera in an attempt to take a selfie with her, except he didn't know how to get it off of video mode. So after this uproar, and only because of it, White House spokesperson condemned the behavior in the statement today. This behavior is inappropriate and disrespectful for any event at the White House. It is not reflective of the event we hosted to celebrate LGBTQI+ families or other hundreds of guests who were in attendance. Individuals in the video will not be invited to future events, the spokesman said. While I and most Americans agree, explain to us why the White House violated U.S. flag code. You did that, not the activists. not the activists that couldn't keep their shirts on. And I guess they think it doesn't matter because they're actually a biological male, and it's not illegal for a biological male to show their top part. We can take our shirts off. We can, when we're in our swimming suits, it's just a swimming suit. We don't have a top on. Only females do that, right? Because we don't want to see their breast. But yet, they don't want to be called a male. They want to be referred to as a transgender, a female who's taken hormones or whatever they've taken to have breasts, to be a woman now. And they think it's appropriate to lift their shirts and expose their breasts for the world to see in front of whoever, to include children that were at the event. That's what's happening in your house, in my house, the White House, by those fucking idiots that are squatting in it. Continuing on the same line, a Wisconsin county is considering a resolution declaring sanctuary status for self-identified transgender and non-binary individuals, including children. Board supervisors in Dane County, Wisconsin, which include the state capital of Madison, will vote on a resolution declaring Dane County a sanctuary for trans and non-binary individuals at the county board meeting that will take place this coming Thursday. After it was referred to the executive committee earlier this month. In this hostile environment, some cities and counties across the country are taking steps to support and protect trans and non-binary individuals. The resolution states, Dane County values its transgender and non-binary residents and vigorously opposes measures that would allow legal violence towards trans people and accessing gender affirmative care or expression. The resolution states the country's position that it's a fundamental right. It's a fundamental right for children to access sex reassignment drugs and procedures. It reads, now therefore be it resolved that the Dane County Board of Supervisors firmly states its commitment to protect transgender and non-binary individuals and believes that access to health care is a fundamental right of all people in Dane County and the state of Wisconsin should have access to all types of health care, including gender affirming care, the resolution states. Be it further resolved that if the state of Wisconsin passes a law that imposes criminal or civil punishments, fines, or professional sanctions on any person or organization that seeks, provides, receives, or helps someone to receive transgender affirmative care, such as puberty blockers, hormones, or surgery, the Dane County Board of Supervisors urges the sheriff to make enforcement their lowest priority. Be it further resolved that Dane County be considered a safe place, a sanctuary for transgender children and adults and their families, it added. The resolution calls on school board members in the county to follow suit. It says a copy of the resolution will be sent to the Democrat Governor Tony Evers, as well as state and local lawmakers and officials. 20 of the county's 37 supervisors have sponsored the resolution. If passed, it would join a handful of similar measures adopted across the country, including in Austin and Kansas City, Missouri. The resolution was first reported on Twitter by parent activist Scarlett Johnson. What the fuck are we doing, man? It is just okay. I'm going to throw a new word at you. From shootings to riots, radical transgender activists are growing increasingly violent and extreme, with some using the term Trantifa to describe the movement. While Antifa is the far-left anti-fascist militant movement often associated with black clothing, face masks, and violent protests, the new term Trantifa has been coined on social media to highlight the strong transgender presence within the Antichrist outfit, according to the Daily Mail, which used the definition for far-right transgender activists willing to intimidate, harass, and even use violence to advance their radical new ideas about gender. UN investigator Reem Assam, who has served as United Nations Special Reporter on Violence Against Women and Girls since August of 2021, is one of the multiple experts on the topic who sounded the alarm about extreme transgender activism. There's an increasing trend that I've been observing, she said. She pointed to attacks on activist Riley Gaines, who has spoken out against biological men being allowed to compete in women's sports. She described how Gaines was ambushed and hit by screaming trans activists in San Francisco after trying to give a speech about this cause. Ellie Berm, Gaines' agent, given a false statement to Fox News Digital at the time about the incident, saying instead of a thoughtful discussion tonight at SFSU, Riley was violently accosted, shouted at, physically assaulted, and barricaded in a room by protesters. It is stunning that in America in 2023, it is acceptable for biological male students to violate, assault a woman for standing up for women's rights. She warned that the public officials across the Western world must ensure that the freedom of speech, though included on the issues of sex, gender, and gender identity, be protected and upheld. Town Hall senior writer Julius Rosas, who testified at the House hearing on the left-wing violence in May, in part because of his reporting on several riots involving Antifa, is another figure with expertise on the subject. Trans activists gravitate towards these far-left groups because they share their community-type ideology, Rosas told the Daily Mail. They view the U.S. as systematic racism, that the U.S. hates queer people, and that the United States passes laws against child mutilation is part of a trans genocide. And they're fighting back. While there have been many recent instances of violence, rhetoric, and action, the highest profile and deadly example of transgender violence was trans-identifying mass shooter Andrea Hell's murderous rampage at a Christian elementary school in Nashville back this past March, which you all know about. In response to the shooting, the Trans Residents Network said that this transsexual had no other choice. They weren't being heard. They had to fight back. And in doing so, killing people is justified in their warped ideology. A Potawatomi Democrat shared a Facebook post suggesting that Antifa and gun violence is needed to protect transgender people less than a week after that Nashville school shooting. The meme showed a person wearing a transgender flag outfit and holding an assault rifle with the caption, Antifa says protect trans folks against fascists and bigots. They've got themselves completely worked up. They honestly think there's a genocide going out against them. Women's Liberation Front founder Lyra Keith told the Daily Mail, if you really think you're under that kind of threat, then you seem to be able to justify anything in your own brain. Welcome to the United States of America in 2023. Folks, I probably will not be doing the show Thursday night because tomorrow I need to go to the other side of the state, about 4 hours from here, to attend a funeral on Thursday for a very dear friend of mine that recently passed away. I do not know if I will be back on this side of the state in time to do my show Thursday. So chances are it's not going to happen. I do start up next Tuesday as normal right here at 8 p.m. Central Time. If you haven't already done so, please go check out DouglasDucote.com. Also, subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends and family about it. In the description of this show and all my videos, all my shows, you can see the other places you can follow me on social media. Follow me there, and I'll follow you back. That's how this works. That's how we spread information that is important for American patriots all across this country to know. We are in a fight, my friends. We're in a fight against the goodness of mankind, battling evil of mankind. God versus the devil. We're at a part in American history that I have no doubt will go down as one of the most shameful experiences and shows of mankind. I've had the opportunity, as have hundreds of thousands of Americans that served in the military, to go to foreign countries and see the absolute horrors that exist. The opportunity to see the worst of humanity, but at the same time, see the best of humanity. And today, you don't have to go to a foreign country and have military conflict to see that. You can see it right here in America. Our forefathers must be rolling over in their graves tonight because of the absolute insanity that continues to come out of the left, many of the Democrats, and those in this current administration that are basically batshit crazy. You can't make this up if you tried. What they're doing is not right. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders and their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, and our country. And if you do not know what angel families are, blue and gold star families, please, I challenge you to look that up, because they need our support now more than ever before, because this current administration is pissing on the graves of their loved ones, and that is unacceptable. God bless you, my friends. Hope to see you back here Thursday night. If not, definitely next Tuesday for another episode of the Douglas Ducote Show live, and I hope that you will be back here to join us. If anything breaks between now and then, I'll be sure to put out a video about it or do a live program. Other than that, hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon.